an exclusive podcast, The Annex. This second episode of the podcast is titled Wet, and this segment comes from our piece about athletes having to pee while in the middle of a game. Enjoy and subscribe on Patreon if you want to hear the rest.
Well, all right. So you're kind of alluding to my thing, which is almost the opposite situation. I think like the other end of the spectrum. If golf is the sport that takes place over multiple acres, where there are trees and nooks and crannies and places to hide, and you could conceivably just put an entire bathroom or a building in the middle of the course, like basketball of the major sports that we watch on TV is probably the opposite. It has the smallest playing surface. Right. It is solid wood.
Fans are on top of you.
The fans are right there. Everyone can see you. You are relatively, and I mean this sincerely, like relatively naked compared to other sports. You have very little privacy.
Right.
And everyone could see your whole deal. And in 2007, Bill Walker, who went on to be one of my favorite Knicks ever, he goes by Henry Walker now. He went by Bill Walker at the time he played basketball, was at Kansas State. And at the end of an extremely close game, I believe it was tied in regulation.
He was playing for Kansas State, not he was visiting a college with theoretically underage people where he then has a piss story.
Yes, correct. This is not an incriminating. Well, it's not an incriminating story. Bill Walker was a Kansas State Wildcat. In the final seconds of a tied game, the refs were reviewing something over at the board. So there was a brief stoppage in play, and Bill Walker announced such that, according to forum posts, basically everyone in the building could hear him. Like everyone nearby could hear him, was just like, I have to piss. And they were like, Bill, you need to get in the game. We're starting back up. And he was like, I have to pee. And the way he solved this, as was captured, I think not by TV cameras, but there are videos of it taken by fans, is he like sort of slowly and methodically, to the point that everyone could see what he was doing, took a bunch of towels, like sweat towels, that, Gatorade branded towels, like 6 or 7 towels, shoved them into his shorts and peed. And that doesn't work. Like there is not an amount of Ryan, you look like you want to say something.
Like a towel diaper.
Like a towel diaper, but like exactly like a towel diaper, except towels are not made to do that. There is not an amount of towels you can fit into a pair of shorts that will do what a diaper is meant to do. So what happened is Bill Walker pissed all over the floor in his shorts. Like the towels did not contain what he was doing. And he pissed all over the floor. And then a assistant of some sort, a coach or a trainer or something, or, an equipment manager, who's probably a college student, since this is Kansas State, had to pick up all these piss towels, because Bill then had to hustle onto the floor and go play in the game, which Kansas State ended up losing in overtime. Okay. And that's Bill Walker's piss story.
It's a story that has so many aspects to it that it's like, cool. Yep. Should we just move on? Like the assembling of towels, the placing them into your shorts. It's not like that's a quick or it's not a process you could be sly about.
No, it's extremely obvious.
He wasn't trying to be discreet.
I don't think he had any prayer of being discreet. So he wasn't trying. Everyone was looking at him, because the game, unlike golf, again, like a lot of things can be happening simultaneously in golf. People are in different holes. The spectators are divided up. The cameras are divided up. In this case, the game was waiting to start until he stepped foot onto the floor. And, had he gone to the bathroom, obviously there would have been some sort of penalty, or he wouldn't have been able to play or whatever. So he had to just figure out the situation immediately. Yeah. And everyone was looking at him, and he shoved a bunch of towels in his shorts and let loose.
I feel weird giving him any sort of credit, but he did remedy the biggest issue of, he basically said, I don't care if people know I'm peeing my pants. I want to make sure they don't see the act of peeing or piss.
They saw piss. The piss made it to the floor. That's the thing.
But
he did not expose himself to a crowd of college students.
Yeah, I think I'd hate to give him credit too, but he did what he had to do.
Right.
Yeah.
I will say,
Real winner.
both of those appraisals check out with, he was interviewed on a Kansas State podcast within the last couple of years. He's now, his NBA career is over. He's retired. And he is basically, he sort of shrugs about that. They asked him about this sort of tentatively. And his response is just like, yeah, I don't know. I had to go. Like, I think I dealt with it pretty well. Like, he's not trying to pretend like it didn't happen the way people say it did, or he's not ashamed about it. He's like, I don't know what you want me to do.
I mean, it's cliche at this point when people are like, athletes, they're just like us. But they are, he needed to pee, and so he peed.
I think and they are just like, on one hand, I've never had to pee like on TV, and 20,000 people were waiting for me to figure out my pee situation. But like, the closest corollary I can come up with is like, you're in a car, where it's like, I have to go. I have been holding this in for a long time, and I don't have a choice. This has to happen.
Right. I mean, I think, so this isn't the story I want to talk about, but like, the human body sucks because one of the stories I came across was Wayne Gretzky in a game that went at least one overtime, if not multiple. He pissed himself on the bench because his body had hit a point where he couldn't hold it in. It was like,
because he was so exhausted.
It just fucking went, which like is a different side of all of this. When you have to go, but you can't hold it anymore, it happens.
Thank you so much for listening. Again, if you want to hear more of that and more stuff like that, and also see early access videos and exclusive John stuff and a lot more, I highly recommend clicking this link to subscribe to Secret Base